What is up, YouTube? Today we got ourselves a 1975 Startcraft. Yeah, you heard it right. It's not your traditional 1999 ski nautique that you typically see on this channel, but I promise that is still there. It's always in my heart. But we're gonna go ahead and look at this 14-foot aluminum boat, center console with the 40 horsepower Mercury, 2-stroke on the back, and then we also have an electric trailer in the front. So we're gonna have some fun with this thing. I basically took it out of a bush. It wasn't running or anything. What you see right now is actually in better condition than what it was. There's leaves packed up all the way to the top. So we gotta basically go through this entire boat and make sure it's running. We're gonna have some great videos coming out of this. We're also gonna make this boat shiny and look brand new, just like it came out of the factory in 1975. Now, enough talking, let's go to work. All right, y'all, when buying a real old boat like this, first thing you want to do is make sure you get yourself home safely. So that's what I did. I had to buy brand new donut tires here. Cost me about 140 bucks to get these things on there, but it's worth it. You don't want to have a flat on the road, especially with a single axle trailer. Number two is bearings, and I'll have a video on this, repacking bearings and installing a new bearing buddy, so then you can keep all the grease fresh in those bearings. Because if you get your axle bearing too hot and then it seizes up, you got to buy a whole new axle. It's super dangerous because now your wheel's locked up. It's even worse than a flat, and you're stuck on the road with a welded solid axle that will not rotate. So taking care of your wheels is probably top priority when you buy an old boat like this that's been sitting for over 10 years. Second thing is the most costly item, the engine. Now, depending on the price of the boat, of like how you're purchasing and everything, you want to factor in, is the engine good? And for me, I basically got this boat for free, so I wasn't too concerned about the engine. But if you have to factor that in, what I would do, and if you're not able to get it to run when the seller is there, what you want to do is get your best shot at seeing if maybe it has potential for running. So take off the engine cover. You know, looking past the cobwebs, you can actually see the engine block. It's really nice. You know, it's nice clean black and everything. You can still see the sticker. It doesn't look rusted. I mean, yeah, you've got this tube, this overflow fuel line is completely broken, but past the cobwebs, you can see the engine block looks super good. All the bolts here and everything haven't been touched. So, you know, to me, this engine looks pretty clean. Another thing you can do is put the engine in gear. And I did this. You can turn the engine over with the propeller here. It's not in gear, it's in neutral, but you can see what I did is it's in neutral, and then I put it in gear, and then I turned it over and felt all the compression, and it felt like you know, we had compression, because you need three things for an engine to run: compression, spark, and fuel. So seeing if there was compression when it was in gear was a good thing. Coming over here, you can see it looks pretty good. Carburetor, you can see it looks a little corroded in there, but that's pretty typical for stuff like this. So overall, pretty clean engine. I would say this engine's gonna run, and it's gonna have another healthy life here. So I got myself a new battery here and turned it over. Everything clicked in gear, the starter clicked up, and then when I released it, it clicked back down. So I just want to check all those functions. And then I went ahead and tried out some starter fluid in the carburetor, and it turned over for about a few seconds. So went ahead and worked on the fuel system here. Fuel system was not working, and I found out that this old part right here all clogged up. So I actually removed this within the fuel system right here, and pulled off this little section here where the fuel filter goes. There's a little cone here that sits right here. So here's the cone that sits on there. This was all dry, and so once I took out this little section in the fuel, this quick disconnect, I finally had fuel going over here, and you can see there's a little bit of grime and dust right there, so I got to clean all of this stuff out and make sure it's all clear. But now finally I have fuel pumping to the engine, so now I have all three, and hopefully it'll start up. Let's go ahead and move forward. Coming on the inside, the plywood and everything is gone. I mean, you can check out this plywood. It is not looking good here. Seats gone. Steering, finally started figuring out the steering here. That's gonna have to get completely rebuilt. Compass still looks like it's working in good condition here. I did test out the trawler, and that worked, which was pretty cool. But you can see the floorboard and everything is gonna need to get completely rebuilt here. Paint, I am planning to paint and rebuild the trailer here. The trailer is in a little rough condition, but it's not rusted out. I didn't see anything too alarming here. The most rust over here was this bar right here, and you can see it's just rusted out because whoever did this just probably used spray paint to coat it, and you can see that's where the worst rust is. So it's not too bad, but definitely is gonna need some work there. Can go up front here. When I picked it up, the original hook with this was really dry, and I had about a half of it actually intact and attached to it, so I was a little afraid that that was going to break. So I went ahead and put on my own strap, and thank God I did, because as you can see, it completely ripped off, which is a little scary. When things sit for over 10 years outside, you know, stuff starts to weld here. So this bolt in here is completely welded on there. I've used a bunch of different things, penetrating oil to try to break that bolt so it actually, you know, won't just spin completely, because if the top part is spinning and the bottom part is spinning, that bolt's not actually sliding up that threaded rod to actually go up and down. Got ourselves a real nice trawler here. Did test it out. It works really good. The turbo power, this thing is looking good here. So I did test it out, and it's working really good. It's got two functions here, so that's just on and then off, and then this one is on with the button here. You can push this button, and then you can have the electric motor run, and then when you take your foot off of it, electric motor will stop running. So you can kind of control it there, and then up and down with this pedal is your steering, and it works really good. You can see the previous owner originally did have a tarp on it, but you know, tarp just completely disintegrated. We've got ourselves a nice little compartment up front. The previous owner did think it was this top part of aluminum was anodized. You can see how it's completely chipping like that. You can see the aluminum below, that's not anodized, and you can also see the overspray from someone just trying to tape it off. You can see the paint there, so we're gonna have to fix that. But so this is just green paint on top. Come over here to our helm. You can see it's got the old Humminbird fish finder. Probably is not gonna work, and probably want a new one anyways. Got the old compass here, which is kind of fun. And then steering. The steering cable's good, but right where the steering cable connects to the engine, it was like rusted out, so I have to like basically bore it out because it's all rusted in there. We've got our water pressure and then also our battery percentage, which is important, especially if you're going to be running your trailer motor just on one single battery. Got ourselves the throttle here with the choke, and then also here's your throttle as well for when you're in neutral. And then we can go ahead and work ourselves down and see the two seats are completely toast. There's a storage compartment below. All the wood is completely gone. Quick disconnect so the trailer can actually tilt, and you could do a launch like on the side of a river or something like that, so you don't have to actually use a dock, or if you're at a super shallow area, you could just disconnect that and then your whole trailer like tilts up, and then you can just slide your boat into the water for shallow launching, which is kind of cool. What's up, guys? So we got an update here. We've been staying up super late last night, sanding and grinding this thing down. We got the trailer pretty well sanded down and everything. Got to take the lights off. Over here on the bottom of the boat, power washed it, completely sanded it. It's all keyed, ready to go for paint. We used a machine, and also we were using hand paper with it. We got that, and then we also been using regular blocks as well to clean it before we paint. I really like using this TSP. You can find it at basically any hardware store. It's a really good cleaner just specifically for painting. I love this stuff. It does a really good job. I use it on all my aluminum metal gutters and stuff like that. We clean it and it gets everything off. Make sure you wear gloves with it though, because it does get your hands pretty good. And then we're also going to be using for paint the Rust-Oleum Marine Coating topside paint. I'm doing white. Original color was kind of like an off-white. One, I couldn't get that color just because right now everything is sold out. It's hard to get anything. I barely got 2 quarts of just white in time to do this project on the weekend. So we're going to go with white, and it'll help update it a little bit, make it a little bit newer. We're going to go ahead and do the bottom of the boat first. We're going to do the trailer, and then we'll have it flipped over, put the boat back on the trailer, and then we can do the inside and then paint the top green. And let's get to painting and cleaning. All right, thank you. Now we get a nice coat of paint on the freshly textured boat. You can see a nice little comparison here before and after. And then here it is painted with the brand new white trailer. We also have the new plywood that's been freshly cut into place. This actually took quite a bit of time to get it in there. And then here's a nice shot with the carpet. As you can see, the boat looks really good in all white. I love the look of it. I do apologize for how quick these pictures went through the process, but unfortunately I had to knock this out in a very short period of time. But I was able to get it done with the outboard engine running and having all of the boat completely repainted with brand new carpet. Now, thank you for watching. Please hit that like button and remember to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.